So let's get into the meat of it. What we're going to cover really quickly, what it is, because I know most of you already know most of this. We're going to go through some best practices. We're going to go through a simple way to start measuring your ROI. It's simple. There are more advanced ways of doing it, which we do for clients, but at least you're going to get a sense of what simple ways you can do it. We're going to give you it depends. If you rock stars out there, you may have already done a lot of this. It could be a 1-month plan. It could be a 90-day action plan, and we're going to do a bit of Q&A. And I'll tell you right now, because I know when I go to conferences and something, there's something that's interesting, and I'm writing it down, and I'm going to post this presentation on our blog, so you can stop writing notes. What we're not going to cover, this is very important. We're not going to cover how to trick or spam search engines. And we're not going to cover the really technical stuff. And maybe that's why you're here, but to be honest, that's like watching paint dry, okay? That's you listening to my SEO conversation about these real technical stuff, okay? That's the real technical stuff. If you guys want to talk about it after, that's fine, but God, I thought I'd at least get a laugh out of that. Seriously, look at that guy. It took me 3 hours to find that picture. God. So why is it important? Well, it's a real easy one, I guess, for most of you. But it's a good, good recap. You're catching people obviously in the search mode. You're placing your message in front of somebody when they're in the mood for it. And most importantly, I'm sure again, could be a quick review. You get most of, unless you guys are like social media ninjas, you get most of your traffic already through organic search. Typically, it's through your business. Doesn't mean you're getting a lot. Just means that you're getting, most of it. But you're usually getting it through your business name or a derivative of such. By optimizing, you start looking at keywords that are relevant to your market, that you can start to utilize and optimize to generate the traffic, to generate the conversion, etc. And, we trust it, right? Again, it's good to use a search strategy that combines getting traffic from organic and paid, but typically we trust it, right? Typically we trust that when we do a search, hopefully we'll get good content, and a lot of times, we skip the ads sometimes. So, again, real quick review. This is what we're going to focus on right here, the organic side. And Tyler is going to focus on all the good stuff about the paid. Okay, so areas for SEO investment. This is where you can start to spend some of your time getting better. So some of the basics. A lot of times people forget this one point. And they want to get into details. I gotta submit my sitemap to Google. I gotta start ranking out on. I gotta start pushing out good content on social media, etc. They forget that it's. Why don't you just start building a good team? Because SEO isn't just about one person who can help you. It's about getting your webmaster or your web team together. It's about getting someone who might specialize in search engine optimization or search engine marketing. It's about getting some writers together. You might not enjoy writing, so maybe you need to bring some writers on staff. It's about bringing your marketing guys. It's about bringing your sales. Okay, so this is the key, and we'll go through the rest of it in the next couple slides. So the basics. So keyword research, the golden rules. The first one, you gotta have keywords that are relevant to your site. And really this is a judgment call. The way I like to look at it is if somebody types in a keyword and they click on a website, are they going to be really happy they found your site or really pissed off? Okay? Are they going to think, wow, this is exactly what I'm looking for? So that's kind of the judgment call. You want to have the keywords that are going to be relevant to the content on the site. Obviously, with high traffic keywords, the next point, people have to be looking for these keywords. Okay? But in your game, it's not all about, yeah, if I get, apartments for rent, yeah, that's gonna really be the one. I'm gonna go after that. I want to get like top 5 because you know what? That's what everyone's looking for. Try to broaden, okay? If I'm looking for a place to rent and I'm moving to another province, maybe I want to know the best areas to live in Ontario. So maybe my searches are best places to live in Ontario. Maybe if I start creating some content, say via a blog, just to give some useful information, maybe that's how they're going to find me, and maybe they'll convert from my blog, not necessarily from a listing. So you've got to start to hit those high traffic keywords, but also some of the long tail, which we'll get into in a minute. You have to assess the level and strength of competition. And this is for specific keywords that you're targeting. You don't want to compete for a keyword that everyone else is going after. For sites in your industry, and there's tools, there's ways of assessing this as well. The younger the domain, the actual domain, so the .com, on the flip side, the older the domain, the more entrenched that site might be for that keyword. And obviously, if your competition, if that competition that's ranking for those keywords, if the ones that rank on the front page, if some of those sites are not getting a lot of link backs, which we'll talk about in a minute, that might be, that might give you an idea that this is a good keyword to go after. Keywords that convert. If you start your analytics, what are those keywords? And maybe this is not you that's going in there. Maybe this is someone that you're hiring. But what are those keywords that are coming from organic search that are converting? Okay? Sometimes they're small, they're just little trickles, but if you take those keywords and you optimize the rest of the site, you can increase that. Some of the ways you can find these keywords, Google AdWords is a keyword tool. I know Tyler might talk about that a bit more. You can start to kind of play around, find these keywords. If you do pay-per-click campaigns, that's a really, in my mind, that's a really fast and cheap way to test some of these keywords because they actually do the work for you. They'll bring you traffic. They'll show you which ones converted. You then take that and you put them on your site and you do all the rest of the things. But it's a really easy way to do it. And then you can reduce your pay-per-click advertising costs over time once things start to kick in on the organic side. Okay? So we're going to get a little, I don't know how technical this is, but for some of you, but some of the basics here, title tags. It's your secret weapon. Most people believe it's the most important place to put your keywords. Okay? Now, some of you are doing this. You know how many times I go onto a site and on their homepage, it's got the title home? I mean, it does you no good. So, but more importantly, not only is it important to put the keywords, but you got to remember, again, it's about conversion. Put something that actually makes sense because you're building your site for users, for people, okay? Make sure it's enticing, okay? Create unique titles, short, 60 characters. There's an example. So, again, real quick, could be 101 for most of you. You can change the title of a page if you're using a content management system for your site. or for your blog, that's typically where you can do it. Sorry, on the back end on the CMS, but that's where it shows up. Okay? Now, I'm not suggesting, by the way, that this person is trying to optimize for that phrase. I'm just saying this is, is the company name and a description of the site, which they do a pretty good job of. Meta tags, it's the companion of the title tag. It's the snippet, so obviously in the search results, it's the actual text below it. It's typically, you can get about 160 characters. Again, it's good to put keywords there, but again, how many times do people go over? This is a marketing message, okay? Even if you don't rank number 1 and you rank 3, and the guy ranking number 1 has crap, and you have a great marketing message that says, you know what, this actually makes sense because you've taken the time to craft that message, you're going to get more conversion. You're going to get more click-throughs, okay? So unique, accurate descriptions. So there's an example of a not so good. Okay, so the person's put their .com, and this is the title. This is the descriptive meta tag. So, it's not rocket science. It doesn't make sense. So I'm looking at that. I don't know what this person does, so I skip it. There's an example of a good one. All right, so it makes sense. They're obviously targeting or optimizing. This is the one I actually put in, so they may not be optimizing for that, but they were ranked in the top 5, and their description makes sense. I understand what they do. There's a good chance if I'm in the market for renting, they're in the top 5. There's a good chance that'll click through.